I'm David, and this is David Talks.
I'm Dave. I'm back on David Talks.
All right, let's get started right away. This diaper award goes out to the ending, the last 3 minutes of Power.
Power? Dang. Is it a new episode?
No, it's not. It's the last episode ending.
When? This Sunday?
No, like a few weeks ago. I haven't spoken about
Alright,
it.
so talk about it. Because
I've been so upset about this. It took me some time to get over it. I'm just gonna say, cool. I get it. 50. You know I love your show. I always talk about it. That ending had me so annoyed. You know that whole who shot JR thing. I'm not gonna give away the whole situation.
Give it away, man. It's been a couple weeks.
Look,
I ain't watch it. I'm slacking.
Alright, so basically, you know,
I don't even want to watch it.
I'm so upset.
I'm so upset about it.
So Ghost is at the club, and it's like everybody's mad at him, including Tariq, his son, his wife, his lawyer's cousin.
Oh, Italian dude.
Yeah, what's the other guy's name? Dre.
Yeah.
A couple of more people.
Yeah.
Angela's sister.
Yeah.
Everybody and probably more people. All of them is all going to the club, and he's the only one in the club. Next thing you know, he's falling in slow motion.
No way.
He's falling in slow motion like somebody shot him.
Like who?
Like who did it? Really? Yo, listen. No. You know what's crazy?
On TV? That's insane.
You know what's crazy? I was legitimately mad.
Yeah.
I was mad like it happened in real life. I did not talk about it to no. Somebody tried to talk to me about it. I was so serious. I was like, I'm not. Don't talk to me about it. I can't believe I was so. I wasn't that upset since the New York Yankees, when I used to go to the game and we used to lose against the Orioles. That's how upset I was.
That's insane.
Yeah, I think I'm over it. That's why I need these diaper awards to get me over these little things. You know, I think I'm over it right now that I'm expressing myself because I was so upset. And, you know, I wish the show well, of course. Now that I'm over it, I'm hoping that he's actually not dead.
I mean, he's not dead.
I mean, he's Ghost, right?
So they just shot him? So it shows him what? You said
They
falling?
just show him falling. Like, he's like...
Wait, wait, he's just falling
in slow motion.
From where?
Like off the balcony of the
he fell off a balcony.
You know when he be always looking over the
club right there.
Yeah.
That's not even that high.
Yeah, but they had him falling for like 3 minutes.
Like
slow
5
motion.
minutes.
Yeah.
Nigga looking at everybody trying to...
Nah, not even. He was just... They didn't show nobody except everybody coming to the club and him just falling in slow motion like
done
this.
it? That's so bad. That show has been done for a little bit for me. Yeah. But that is the nail in the coffin. It's a nail in the coffin. I don't know.
I hope, you know...
I defended Power for so long, too.
But who was against Power?
Well, people do the whole Power versus Empire. So it's
I enjoyed Empire, too. I mean, people say it was corny. I mean...
I like Power over Empire.
Yeah, me too.
If it was a thing, I would choose Power.
I would too.
But now I don't know. I don't even want to see that episode. You know how things are really bad. You got to see it for yourself. That just sounds like.
I ain't gonna lie to you. If you would have told me that, I wouldn't have watched it.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. But I mean, see, that's
probably
why
it was great.
They get picked up. That's a whole nother thing that I know about that.
Well, look, I'm gonna give
companies ain't picking it up.
That ending. I'm gonna give 5 diapers. I was totally mad.
Yikes!
I was at the time. Definitely 5 diapers. I was upset, legitimately.
That's bad.
What would you give it?
Maybe like 3 diapers.
3?
Yeah, I'm not even mad at it because I just don't expect too much from it. It is a disappointment to even hear it. I don't even need to hear too much about it, but the fact that they made them all mad, I kind of even already knew where it was going before we finished it. Yeah. Okay. In the playback, you're gonna see me. I'm like coming to my understanding. Like,
well, you can kind of tell. You're like, wait a minute, and then like the cameras keep flashing back. So I guess they kind of want you to kind of know. That was their way of saying something about to happen.
Did that? This is bad. That's bad. That's bad. And I remember there was a show that, and the people were trying to guess who did what. They were like rewatching it over and over, who they showed more, whose hands and stuff. That's just, that's old.
Don't get me wrong, it was a great show. My best shows, that is one of my best shows. They seem to have the craziest ending. I didn't think nobody could top the Lost episode at the end, the way that ended. For years, that had me upset.
The Lost thing is still kind of like understanding. You know, the writer's strike, they ended
Very true.
A whole season early.
Okay.
They kind of wrapped everything up. A lot of things were unanswered because of the writer's strike.
That's true.
And then they did okay for what they had. It's fine. You go back and watch it, it's okay ending.
Well, I am looking forward. I mean, you know, I'm definitely gonna watch the spin-off, I guess, of Power, but
50 said that he wants to keep it going. So that was another reason why I wasn't really, because I have to watch like 2 episodes. So I'm just like, I'm not even gonna watch it.
I don't blame him for wanting to keep it going. I think that he
said he changed his mind.
I think he should get it. I think he has the ability and the creativity to do another show and to make it just last a lot longer. Now that he knows the ability that he has, and you know what I mean? What?
That just sounds so terrible, man. Let me get to my diaper award. I don't want to hear about his ability, man. I want to see
a good show.
I want to see a good show.
I understand. Yeah.
Even the people I rock with, and I rock with 50, could do horrible work. And that's something I'm about to get right into.
Okay, so what's your diaper award?
Kanye West. Kanye West is like the diaper king at this point.
Why? What do you do now?
You know those street performers that spray themselves with like
blue one or
like silver or like gold, and they like stay still.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing, but he just did some opera performance, and he just sprayed himself, and he's just looking crazy. I just feel like at this point, is only so much you can do it for attention. It's just really crazy.
I mean, when you have money, who's there gonna second guess you? I mean, he's at a level where the people probably around him is just either saying, just leave me alone and go ahead and do your idea, or let me not try to correct you or I'm fired. I don't know.
Or they, his argument is, I tried all these crazy things and now I'm rich, or I'm successful. But at some point, you have to say to yourself, like, this is just ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous.
So you just,
I'm shocked because he's literally like this with me. He's
so
genius level that he's just like.
So if you made $100 million, you're an artist yourself, and can you see yourself becoming successful and then making $100 million plus, and then like maybe 10 years pass, you're still making money like that?
I know
you don't think it's possible that you might do something crazy like?
All right, so see, this kind of segues into another thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I know there are things that people do creatively that I won't understand or appreciate, and other people might say, "Oh my God, he's the Tin Man." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But to me, it's like you're robbing street performers of their art, right? Which is art to me. I understand it. What they do is not for me. I'm not really like looking at a street performer like Frozen as anything. But there's other people that appreciate it. But I think he's capitalizing off of that. That's number one. And number two, he's doing it for something that makes no sense to me. There's nothing cohesive about what he's doing.
Well, maybe he's showing homage. Maybe he's respecting what they do, and he's.
I just don't see it that way.
You don't see it.
I see it as what people accuse other people of, like appropriation. I feel like that's what he's doing. And it's just, to me, I could be wrong. I don't know. Who's to say Kanye West can't do that? My point is, it just doesn't, it seems like he's doing it for the sake of doing it. It's not even serious. Like, I feel like the street performers that actually do that take pride in their craft.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He's just doing it because
he
can.
think he's making a mockery of it?
Unknowingly. I think he feels he's doing art or performing. And to my ignorance of it, he probably is.
Probably.
But the way I see it, and I've looked at it and looked right on it, and again, I could be wrong, but it's just, it does feel like a mockery.
Interesting. But, it's funny, like, the way he does things in general, never really seems. I think that's what makes him who he is. He just, you know.
No, and I agree because he's the leader of taking things that are uncool and making them cool.
Okay.
Like polo shirts and all of that, even the backpack, everything, all of that. Even in his music, he's a pioneer in certain sound. The dad shoes, the mom shoes, like he's good at that. The homeless clothing, that all that is great. But certain things I feel like it's just too much of a reach. It almost seems like it's like a joke. It's like a parody. Like, I'm gonna do something extremely ridiculous, and just because who I am, people are gonna accept it. And it's just, maybe he's right, but it's just.
So how many diapers would you give it?
Like a solid 3 diapers.
So, I mean, I can't even. Maybe because I haven't seen it, or I will take a look at it.
He looks like a Tin Man.
And.
He looks like a Tin Man.
I will take a look at it, and you know what? I'll probably give an award then. So right now, and then I don't understand his motives behind what he's doing. I guess he just.
Well, the topic I wanted to get into is, just because I don't understand it doesn't make it not art.
Okay.
But recently, a performer or whatever, like a comedian, went to an exhibit, a museum, and ate a banana off a wall.
I think I read something or seen something. It was worth a lot of money or something like that.
$130,000. So it's just a banana with tape over it on the wall, not protected, nothing, just on the wall, and he just ate it, and everyone's in shock around him.
Why was it there in the first? Do you know what kind of banana this is?
It's a regular banana, man. Someone's art.
And
I don't understand.
Oh my god!
I don't know if I could grab a bunch of bananas and say,
"Oh my god,
this banana is worth $100,000 and this one's $2."
That is very interesting.
But he's facing charges. He got arrested.
Oh my gosh!
So he even says it in the video when they're taking him away. Like a woman that works in the museum's like, "Come with me, I guess. Like, come with me. I guess let's do this." And he's like, "I'll see you guys when I get out of jail." Like, he knows he's going to jail.
That is insane. So, do you know the name of this guy?
Nah, I didn't even.
Well, maybe that's the whole thing, publicity stunt. Maybe that's what he's trying to get known, because I don't know who that is.
He probably was like, "No one's ever gonna hear me of my name. Let me eat this banana."
Sometimes you gotta do outlandish things in this world to be known. That's actually a joke, but
that's Kanye West. This reminds me of the same thing.
Hey,
it's like I don't understand, right? The art of a banana taped to the wall. Some people might be like, "Oh my god!" Like,
well, you know
that's
what?
Insanity.
What's even crazier is he probably made that art more popular than it ever would have been.
Right.
Because of what he did.
Well, I mean, it's destroyed now, so I guess somebody else is gonna get another banana.
Maybe get the banana that's like
that's
black,
already half eaten
or like ripe or something.
I guess it was eventually going to like start to bristle in the future.
Hey,
and he said it was delicious. That's what that was.
Really?
It better have been delicious. $100,000.
I'm wondering how long was that banana there in the first place?
I don't know, but I thought about that too. Like,
really,
it looks like it's getting there. It looks like I'm not gonna eat that banana.
Interesting.
If a banana for me has a little bit of brown on it,
I don't even know what to say about that. I guess it was funny. He got people laughing, right?
Now, in this Kanye West thing that I brought up, people might think I'm talking about Kanye West as being the banana, but that's not how I see it. I see it as banana. I know. I see it. Yeah, exactly. Banana is the Tin Man that actually is on like 42nd Street moving still.
Okay.
And Kanye West is coming to
eat the Tin Man.
Eat the Tin Man.
That's so funny. Hey, well, you know what?
Eating the Tin Man is nasty.
He's bringing light to the Tin Man too, right? But I mean, anyone visiting Times Square, they would know, these street performers out there.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
that is interesting. It's funny how something like that is so popular.
Right. And he knew what was gonna happen. I mean, right now we're in social space, right? That's the new. I think that's what I'm gonna address it as, a social space of doing outlandish things for publicity, like you said. And he knew that this will be talked about.
I like social space.
Yeah,
I think you should patent that if it's not already out
there.
Yeah.
You might have to do the,
I think that's a great idea.
Apple, man, I'm still waiting on the watch.
Apple. I read something about Apple. Was it Apple?
I mean, Apple right now, they're in a weird space because they have the leading phone on the market, even though a lot of tech people on YouTube are saying that it's not the best phone, but it's the most popular, like by far right now.
Right.
But I think for them to top this phone, they have to do a lot.
Oh, to top the latest phone.
Yeah. They have a year or so to do it. But
I'm wondering how they would do that. I do see room for improvement, even though I do like, or should I say, I love the camera quality of it. But I definitely can see improvement.
I mean, they're considered to have the best camera.
Yeah,
out right now.
I can see how it can get better and better and better. Definitely.
The problem with the weird space that a lot of people are saying, like tech people, like reviews, is that the phone just seems to be the same phone with a bit of upgrades, and it's like redundant. Like, you know, next year.
Well, they took out the button at least,
which that should have been done.
True. Well, they probably just kind of focusing on one area versus the other, knowing that if it ain't broke, why fix it, kind of thing.
We're gonna have to edit it, but this is the Kanye West tidbit.
We don't have to edit it.
you might have to look that up because I opened my phone for the next topic. This is what's going on. I don't know if y'all can see it, but this is we may have to put it inside the video.
Well, you know what? He actually looks like the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz, old, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Wizard of Oz. Kind of reminds me of that Tin Man.
Me personally, I think that's it's silly. It's silly. But again, a banana on the wall, $180,000 might be silly to other people. So
he got to do something outlandish. That's a part of his character. That's a part of his way of promoting himself, doing something.
I mean, he's being spoken about, so it's like,
yeah, he's in the news. That's what matters, and
I wanted to talk about something else, a little more, not serious.
Okay,
it is entertainment,
right.
But to me, it is important.
What's that?
The Golden Globes.
Okay.
They put out the nominations, which is a lot of movies. It's a lot of movies this year. I think this year, 2019, has been bad for music.
Yeah.
Like, it's been very mediocre, but the movies this year have been like amazing.
Okay.
But they're getting backlash because it's all male directors.
Right.
Again, for the second year in a row, I believe. I don't really know maybe it's 3 years. It could be. But at first, I was kind of like on a so what thing. Like, maybe just, women directors didn't make as good movies. But the list that came out, I'm like, wow, that's a little weird. It is weird. It seems kind of purposeful. And it's like, to me, that awareness should be brought to that. That should be brought to attention. It's like so many, like, I don't even want to go through the list of it. It's just so many good movies made by female directors. And
you think now, and not to sound redundant to speak of Tyler Perry, but now that I would say in about 20 years, he may be equally balanced with Hollywood. You think that might change?
No, I don't think Hollywood would ever let that happen.
I wonder.
I think Hollywood has such a grip on pop culture that it won't let it go. But even so, like, even little things that Hollywood takes credit for, that it's not responsible for, that grip is so strong that I don't think they would ever let Tyler Perry on that level. Even though, to me, he is on that level, even if his stuff isn't for me.
I think it's good that you say that because it clearly shows awareness. But now that you say that, and being in Hollywood, being in LA, the lifestyle, the weather, I think that Tyler Perry possibly could actually take over.
Yeah.
I really believe that. Based on where he's stationed at,
Atlanta, right? His studios.
Right, and the weather.
He's naming after the. I looked that up. He's naming certain parts of the studios after black artists.
That's correct.
Yes, Will Smith Sound Studio.
That's correct.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's admirable. That's crazy.
It's his studio is so much bigger than any Hollywood anybody's studio by far.
Right.
Huge.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I believe because people like to live in a comfortable climate, you know, the cold. You know, we used to it in regards to living in New York City. You know, winter, spring, summer, fall, or 4 seasons.
Right.
The only thing I like about the winter is the snow.
Right.
Which tomorrow's gonna snow, which I'm looking forward to.
Right. Yeah.
But aside from that, the warm climate is much more healthy, I would say.
I mean, I feel like all of that ties into say so. Like, who says what? Like, for example, right? New York City is freezing. A lot of people, you know, can't even deal with the cold. Ideally, it's not even a good space for certain things to happen. But because it is New York City, it's just automatic, you know? And it's like basically the capital of the financial district and like so many things that, like, in location-wise, it makes no sense for it to be that, you know what I mean? So
it's not a lot of space.
It's no space. You know, I don't even want to say that, but it's just no space.
Not in the city part. I would say Jacob Javits Center is a space.
Right.
In regards to they could like make that into a studio. I don't know if anyone's ever thought about that.
In regards to that, it's a maybe, you know. But it goes back to the why is it that Broadway, which is the street Broadway shows are such high esteem, where shows on Canal Street or not even that far from Broadway are just like the low tier. So it's location, you know what I'm saying? So it's the say so, and that's what I mean about the Hollywood versus the, you know, Tyler Perry Studios.
Well, the thing is, Tyler Perry cracked the code.
What code is it?
He cracked the code of getting quality performers.
Now, with that being said,
yes,
the say so thing is so powerful to hold on. It's almost like Nike versus Adidas.
Okay.
Adidas might have way better sneakers, and I'm not saying they do, but Nike's always going to be Nike. You know what I'm saying?
Nike was smart because they endorsed a lot of athletes that so happen to be black that are the most popular athletes in the world.
So are we going to see Martin Scorsese shooting a movie out of Tyler Perry Studios? And that, like, I mean, the people that, like, the athletes that Nike has co-signed, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, you know, Kyrie Irving, you know, all these, you know, prestigious athletes like that are more about business and all of that now. Whereas Adidas is not really in that direction. You know what I'm saying? So, in the same sense that Hollywood has those certain directors, is Tyler Perry gonna have those directors? Is he gonna have those co-signs?
I believe that he is, and I think there's a lot of unknown directors out there. They popping up even without Hollywood, I would say, or Tyler Perry.
Right.
I'm hearing these directors' names I've never heard before. A lot of movies are coming out. There's a lot of space.
Well, that's in I kind of mentioned it before about the Netflix not working with Tyler Perry, which to me is baffling. And I don't know, you know, where Netflix is gonna get the money back that they put in movies, which their movies and shows are great, but that partnership just seemed like a match made in heaven. But for whatever reason, it didn't happen. And I do believe it is politics. I do believe people don't want Tyler Perry to be held on that. Like, imagine Hollywood, for all my life, has been the top of the top. Like, if you got to make it in Hollywood to become someone. I would want that conversation to happen with Tyler Perry in his studios, but it almost seems like he's the second tier. Not even that. It just seems like and I think that's the stigma created. Even a lot of people mention it. Why don't blacks buy from other blacks? You know what I mean? Even the quality would be the same or even better. It's just the stigma that's created around.
Well, of course. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, when you turn on TV, who do you see on the television? It's not necessarily, I would say, a Caucasian person's fault or whatever the case is, because there's a handful of people that actually design what we call the system. You know, or I would say to look at oneself a certain way versus, because if we turned on the TV and we see a whole bunch of actors that were black, we will automatically buy black.
Right.
So it's actually implanted in our minds how to think. Our ideas are not actually our ideas, and this is why we conduct ourselves the way we do, based on what we see. So it doesn't matter if it was green people on TV. We're gonna start looking for green. Well, who's green?
Right.
You know.
Well, and I think that see, I think it's traps and layers to why that is. I was watching Godfrey. He's a comedian on Vlad. He does interviews.
Yeah.
He was repeating what another comedian had said on there's only one black comedian allowed to be big at once, and right now it would be Kevin Hart. You know, like even
But the hoops.
Huh?
But the hoops. I just wanted to add that in. What you were saying?
Yeah, he was basically focused on how, like, even Eddie Murphy came out with another movie. I don't know if you even heard about it, right?
What was it?
It's called Dolomite.
Sounds familiar.
So Dolomite in 1975 was a what's it called? Blaxploitation film, meaning like they really played up on black stereotypes and stuff, and he was like a comedian and he wanted to make his own shaft or like his own style, and he made his own movie with his money from his music record label. Like, he did a lot of that. So Eddie Murphy made a movie based on his career, but you didn't even hear about it. No one really knows about the movie. The movie's actually pretty good. I liked it. And Eddie Murphy puts other comedians, unknown, known, in the movie. He's giving other people a shot, which he's always done in his career. He's always put on other comedians. But you don't know about it. Imagine not knowing about a new movie Eddie Murphy did at one point.
That's actually insane.
So, in a sense, who's the most popular comedian out now? It's Kevin Hart. So it just kind of like echoes the whole notion of, there's only one black comedian allowed at a time. And I think those barriers have to be broken down first before, maybe I could be wrong, but it's just so many barriers and walls that seems to be preventing us respecting a Tyler Perry Studios as much as a Hollywood.
Well, I mean, you know what? He's
Even like the mystique. Sorry to cut you off, but
No.
the mystique of Hollywood. Like, I just watched a movie this year, which is great, called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
It's with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. It was made by Quentin Tarantino, which is one of my favorite directors. It's just he has his own memory of what Hollywood is, and he kind of shows it at a certain time. I don't want to give too much of the movie. You gotta watch the movie.
Okay.
But just the whole mystique about Hollywood is just so everyone feels like it's untouchable. It's legend. It's an undying legend. So it's like, how do you get Tyler Perry's status to that level?
I think
Even if it's not real.
Well, I don't. Again, being in Hollywood myself, I understand that it's almost like your own personal playground, and that's how you feel. You feel like that's your world, and everybody that's around you will come to play with you. That's how you kind of feel mentally.
That's genius.
So they set, like, I would say, Melrose Place. It's just a whole strip, and then you just. And it's not as crowded as people always say that the traffic is crazy in LA. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's crazy if you only have a regular street and traffic is going two ways. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's crazy if you only have one highway.
Mm-hmm. See, but that could be the reverse psychology of don't come to LA, it's too much traffic.
Well, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? And personally, I don't feel it's a bad thing. I just think that people want instant gratification. They just want to get there. That's it. New York City, I don't see how people could compare New York City traffic with LA traffic. They say it's different. Yes, it's different, but why is it different?
Right.
So we have highways everywhere in New York City, and you know we're used to 45 minutes to get from one borough to the next. That if there was no traffic, we'll be there in like 10, 15 minutes.
Exactly.
We're used to that. It happens every day, all day long. You know, but then again, in Atlanta, it's peaceful. If people get used to that lifestyle, that'll be the new Hollywood, and I believe that's going to be the new Hollywood. I don't see why it wouldn't be, and I believe that the money will probably generate more there because you don't have to travel all the way to the West Coast to make a movie. It's already here in New York City.
But you gotta ask yourself, how many people know about the studio? It should be the biggest news.
Honestly, I believe a lot of people know about it. Now it's time to make those movies.
Yeah. Okay.
Not for nothing.
It takes the directors, like they're so.
I think it takes people like
actors.
You and I. Yeah. I think you and I, we can easily write something, and I'm just say easily, yes. And I know it's a lot of hard work. Yeah, you got to put time into it.
Right.
But it's as easy or as hard as you want it to be.
Right.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, and I also predict there's going to be a lot of white directors and working with Tyler Perry as well. It's more convenient.
Right.
By the way, there's a lot of people that are afraid of planes that live in New York City.
Right.
They'll rather drive down to Atlanta than take a plane.
That is true. That is true. Nah, actually, I think that's a great idea. I think I would love to see that studio one day. We should take a trip, do an episode over there.
I plan on taking a trip. Actually, real soon.
Yeah.
I would love to see Will Smith's sound studios. I did see some of it from television.
Right.
You know, and it looks amazing.
Right. So I guess, you know, if you could create that atmosphere of, like you said, you feel like you're the star of the show when you arrive, and that is powerful. That's powerful to say because it's like everyone feels that way. They feel like they're the star of their own movie. Wow. So to create an experience like that, you know, I guess that's years of development.
I would also say my mind develops depending on the type of experience that I have, and I would strongly encourage people that are afraid of flying to get on a plane. I don't like planes either. By the way, you're really, really high in the air and you're going at a certain speed and you're not in control, and I understand people don't want to give up control. I get it. When I'm in someone else's car and they're driving like 100 miles an hour, which bothers me tremendously because they're not considering my life.
Right.
You know, so a plane magnifies that to the, I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you won't be able to experience like things like traveling to like Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
You know, and knowing and being on islands, thousands of islands. You know, and I was on an island and I felt like it was my island. I literally felt like that was my island.
That's interesting.
I felt like it was home too.
Yeah.
And it's hard to shake that away. And that's when you go out to LA, you don't want to come back. You want to stay there. You know, you kind of get that feeling. So I understand people that go out to LA, they don't want to come back. Right. I get that. And I believe, I mean, I've heard many times people that go to Atlanta don't want to come back.
Well, there you go.
Right?
That's powerful. Speaking of not wanting to come back, I don't know if I'm gonna do another Netflix month.
Why is that?
Because Disney Plus got me, man.
Did it really?
Yeah, it's nice.
Really?
It's nice.
I
might not both, but it's just,
I held off on Disney.
I know because they seem like a scary big bad wolf.
I mean, because I'm paying, you know,
so much for everything.
Yeah, I got all these apps.
Well, I want to speak on that too. Let's get back to that for sure.
Yeah.
They're bold. They only put a week free subscription. Usually it's a month, right? For everything. Man. Spotify, Apple,
wow, only 1
week. Netflix.
They know
only a week. They know once they get you in there, they have you. Christmas season, Home Alone, let's get it. Like, you know, you guys can watch movies all day. And nostalgia.
I always say Disney's the best, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna be forever or not. I just know now Disney And you know what? Speaking of Disney, and not to mean to cut you off, I want to say this. Disney made the End Games, correct?
End Games? You mean Avengers?
Yeah.
Yeah, they own Marvel. Yeah. Kevin Feige.
All right. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
I want to know why the actors in Disney are not getting nominated as best actors.
Oh, yes. That's
because they're great. Yeah. They're very believable.
I think that goes within the mystique of Hollywood. The Martin Scorsese's, we had the conversation of them saying that those aren't films. Those are experiences.
Thanos acting was insane.
Yeah. The CGI and all of that.
He deserves Grammys for that.
Right.
He deserves a whole bunch of awards.
Now, in fact, they should be recognized more for the simple fact that they feel like people. They feel like actual people when it's fantasy. So for someone to make you forget you're watching fantasy, it's like, wow, like that's even more. I think that's more difficult to do than because they didn't cartoon it up. You know, even with some things being silly or funny. It didn't feel cartoony. It felt like, wow, I could see a superhero.
What's his name again?
Just like
the creators of Marvel and DC.
You mean which one? Kevin Feige, the
the comic books.
Oh yeah. Stan Lee.
Stan Lee. I think Stan Lee.
Rest in peace, Stan Lee. By the way.
Definitely rest in peace. And I would like to, be a part of helping keep his name alive. I believe he deserves even more than what he's gotten.
Right.
And I believe that when they do give out awards, and maybe Disney needs to make up some awards for just putting his name on it.
Now Disney is so big with Disney Plus and them owning Fox. Hulu falls right under that, which Hulu was contenders against Netflix. That's like the alternative. They own Hulu too now, so it's like they have everything over there, and prices are really competitive. You can have Hulu and
I have Apple.
So it's just like
Apple Plus.
Well, that's the third guy. They might come in the game.
But just before we move too far, what's some of the quotables that you recall in the End Games with Thanos?
Thanos is so quotable that I remember something that he said that didn't even make it in a movie. He was saying, this puts a smile on my face. Like, that's from just a commercial. You know what I'm saying? So that it's so chilling and it was so powerful, but they took it out because they felt like it swayed his character so much that they didn't want it to seem like he was a bad guy. They wanted him to be more relatable. And it was so smart, but yet it still stayed with you because they didn't need him to say who he was or what he was. His character showed who he was.
I'm just going to say, arguably, he was the best actor in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And he, first off, a lot of respect, or you could say shout outs to the directors of the End Games, to the writers. Honestly, flawless, like incredible.
The Russo brothers directed it.
Oh my God, it was insane. I mean, when he was waiting outside and he was, he was sitting down and just waiting and looking up.
Yeah.
That scene was insane.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with comic book lovers, geeks, or whatever you want to say.
Right.
Has nothing to do with that. I know people like to put someone in the category if you speak about comic books, and it's just so, like, I would say, so controlling, and not on the person's part that thinks it, just how they're trained to think. It was an amazing movie. I would say best movie of the year. In every aspect. I don't think any movies came close to it. And I've seen a lot of movies, and I've seen I could go on and on. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Like, I'm not giving credit to different actors in different movies. It's not even about that. But if you compare the movies to the acting,
right,
and the writing, the dialogues, I mean, it will win by such a far margin,
right,
that it would have to make them make better movies.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you. I agree with you. A lot of the performances have been lacking the last couple of years, but I'd say this year, people have stepped their game up. The Irishman. I don't know.
I did finally see The Irishman, yes. Yeah. And not for nothing, but you love The Irishman.
Yeah, I do.
Now let me just say this. I'm definitely I may not be, but I kind of feel like I'm putting you on the spot with this. Irishman or Endgame? Which movie was written better, directed better?
Irishman or Endgame? I would say The Irishman.
And why?
Man, Irishman. I like Irishman for so many reasons. I like, and the mystique seems to be the reoccurring word, but of real life characters, you know, like legends we heard of growing up, and yeah, in a way, in a sense, Stan Lee's characters are legends within itself because that's what we grew up on, but just a lot of people that the movie was based off in Irishman. You heard all these things about Jimmy Hoffa, especially, and it's like he's like
a real person. Just in case people
don't know.
Yeah.
I should have said his name, but you hear the legend of the Irishman. You know what I mean? You hear these things, and to see it on screen, but believable, it brings legend to life. You know what I mean? And it just, even the score in the movie, the waiting, the patience, the nothing on screen. Like, I like moments, like even in the Thanos moment when he was just sitting there, he wasn't talking, he wasn't doing nothing, that he was brooding basically, but he was waiting for them, and that was smart. But in The Irishman, it was that moment in different ways, and it was like, we don't always have to have something flashy here, flashy there. It was very human. It was very like, you know, and in fact, to me, as long as the movie was, it did seem like in parts of the movie it was a little rushed. You know what I mean?
Irishman.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
But Endgame was long too, but I feel like there were certain parts within it that was rushed as well. And I think that's director's fear of movies running too long and losing our attention. But I could have watched a series on The Irishman. It could have been a 2-part movie.
So I would say tearjerker, Irishman or Endgame.
Tearjerker?
Yes.
Yeah, Endgame. But see, the tearjerker thing I do take into consideration.
Which part of the movie you would say was a tearjerker?
In Endgame?
Yes.
Black Widow and Hawkeye, when they were fighting, that sense of emotion to me was they were fighting for a sacrifice, and which was amazing. It was an amazing scene. You felt Hawkeye's emotion way more, and this is the weird part about the movie. I felt more Hawkeye's emotion there than when his family disappeared, and so it's like, yeah, I could.
Can I tell you where I felt the most emotion in the whole entire movie?
Where?
When Captain America was just getting up, and the Black Panther was saying to your left.
Oh yeah.
Or was it Doctor Strange? That part was so emotional.
Right.
It was incredible. It completely moves you.
Yeah, it was great. Those moments are great. Irishman you didn't feel those moments, but you felt the sorrow when his daughter wasn't talking to him.
Right.
When he went through the divorce. I don't want to say too much for the movie, but it's just like so many. I felt more. I like the moments inside. It felt superhero. Like, it made you feel powerful. It made you feel like he wasn't alone. You felt that lonely feeling that Captain America was still brave, and I liked all those moments. And I do put that on the top tier of emotional. I know it was emotional. And The Irishman, though, I guess me and you probably watch it from different places. I felt so much for the family. I felt him falling into that lifestyle. It felt, they made you feel that. And it made it in a realistic sense of, he just wants to make money. He wants to provide for his family. He's doing things he don't want to do, but he's good at it. He's taking advantage of it. It seems so real to me, and so like fleshed out. His character seems so fleshed out. Like, you felt the intimidation. You felt how he felt around Jimmy Hoffa. Even Joe Pesci's character, which I forgot his name. But like, every character in this seemed important. Even Jimmy Hoffa's son. Like, you felt how the main character, Robert De Niro, felt, damn, I'm about to do something to your pops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you driving me there. And it's like you felt all of those things, and to me that was really, it was ugly. It was nasty.
I'd say what I found interesting, which I know a lot of people may not even know this, and some people I'm sure do, how they played down the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily giving away. It's based on a true story.
Right.
The people, the characters are all real, and how it happened. And also, I wouldn't say I appreciate, but I would respect how they purposely left things to your imagination, because they can't, even to this day, tell the whole story.
Well, that's very interesting. I guess their take on it was to let you decide, but I took it as the mafia at the time respectfully took credit for something they didn't do, to seem more intimidating, to seem more powerful.
The assassination.
And people were like, yeah, let's let it rock. Let them take the heat for that. But it's ambiguous. Like you could say to yourself, well, it still could have been the government. They just took credit for it because they wanted to let people know that no one is untouchable, and which is true, and it shows all time and time again that no one is untouchable. So it's very possible that it was the mafia or the union or anyone. It could have been some random dude in the street. Who really knows?
Well, the executive decisions 111. You guys look up the rest might give you a different idea of who it would be.
Well, again, it's just, and that's what I like about the movie. I see why you don't.
And that's not what I'm saying. It's not in the movie at all.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's what some people might call a conspiracy. But
well, of course they would.
But
and that's just another way of saying, don't believe it.
But no, I think the movie handled that situation pretty well, because it said, okay, it could have been us, but that's for you to decide.
Right.
It didn't take you out of reality. And for a movie that really doesn't really know, they might have their suspicions. They did it right to me.
And going back to the end game, Thanos' intentions appeared to be just.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother thing. That's what made him such a good character as far as being an antagonist. And I think that kind of falls back to the Killmonger and Black Panther. He was so relatable. His plight was so relatable and understandable. That movie mirrored our society. African Americans, which are called blacks now, versus people in Africa, and that tension between the two. And there's so many things that are mirrored in that movie, and Killmonger experiences it, and just you actually start to feel for Killmonger.
Yeah, you do.
And I think that's what makes his character so great. And I think all the great superheroes super villains that pop up in Marvel are relatable in that sense, where it's like, I could kind of see where you're right, Thanos, Killmonger,
well, just
for
the record, what is Thanos' intentions?
To create balance and get rid of greed, or make enough for everyone. I don't agree with Thanos there, but I know a lot of people might.
Let me ask you this question. I'm not going to ask you, I'm just going to throw it out there. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to ask you whether or not we're overpopulated. Even though I know in certain countries, like China is clearly overpopulated. But what I would ask you is this. Do you think that if people were taught, every individual on the planet were taught how to farm, do you think that there will be enough food to go around?
I mean, I couldn't say, because I've only been in the United States and limited to that. So I haven't seen the world in the sense like you might have seen the world, or I could just go by what I hear or learn or read, So
okay.
It's hard for me to say. But from what I've heard, there's plenty of food and space to go around times and times over again.
Let me say this. In Hawaii, for instance, there's people that carry tents with them and sleep on the beach. And when they go to work, they're not homeless. When they go to work, they take their tents with them and they go to work. and they make a good living. Some people would say,
Mm-hmm.
but homes there are $1 million. They can't afford to live in a home, and a lot of people live in like one area. I'm not saying that's the whole island, but let's just say if that's the case. Then if you go to Thailand, on an island where, you know, 500 Thai bahts are like $15 American money, where the money stretches so much.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that if you have a whole bunch of people concentrated in one area,
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know how to grow their own food.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to shelter themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You would need a carpenter to build a house.
Mm-hmm.
You need a store to buy food.
Right.
And all I'm saying is, with that, do you think it would make a difference?
No, I don't think. I think eventually, because of that, right? That is why we would run into overpopulation. But I think that's why they're starting to try to grow different metropolis around the United States, like building malls and buildings, like, you know, like, what is it, complex, and different things. Just,
I get that. And,
but I think honestly, it's just a battery. We're in a systemic battery. We're designed to have continue the flow of money, to spend more faster, to need more, to live, to want to live in certain conditions. You know what I mean? And just to make someone else rich. And we're just, you know.
And I think it's amazing how they can build a complex and go to Africa. Not just a complex, but a whole entire community of I would say a small city.
Well, that's what Akon's doing over there now. So it's just like you said, money stretches in other countries out here that, you know, with $100 million in the United States won't really get you. I mean, for us it would be something, but it won't build you a city.
Well, the thing is that if you have a town, that's I would call it a town. If you have a town built, fully built, and it was so happened the contractor so happened to be, I believe from China that came and built it, but it cost so much money that no one in that town could afford to live there. Which means what? You ask yourself, they build it for nothing, or they have to convince people with money to actually move there. And another thing is, well, I would predict that in like 40, 50 years, Asia will be the new America or the new capital.
Well, I mean, like, you don't need to move people in there with money. What you need to do is have the people that already live there want more than what they already have. You have to create a system where someone says, I don't want to sleep in a tent. I want to sleep in a house with a couch, 2 rooms, this, that, and the other. And I think that's what our society's been building for, you know, X amount of years, for the need to want more than a tent. So, I mean, I think it's all systemic. Like, it's just a battery, you know.
Yeah, but
it's to convince the people of the area to say, a tent is not enough for me. I need more than that.
Yeah, but where are they gonna go to make that? Because they can't make the money in their country. That's not.
No, they can. They create jobs to make whatever they need.
So you think that's possible?
I think it's easily. I think it is possible. It's just about mindset. It's about mindset and about controlling. And I think a lot of social space is designed for that, for us to not care about wanting more or what's important. It's distraction. It's entertainment. It's whatever. It's music. It's drama. You know what I mean?
Some people, they'll go to like different parts of America to be able to make money and then go back,
right,
and to live better.
Some people live in the United States and send money back home in other countries, and like you said, the money goes a longer way in those countries. But there goes to show you, like, we're making money to do what? Like, we really don't need anything else. You know, we need food, but other than that, we're just paying to live here, which is like,
it's interesting.
That's what it is.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this. There's a person or persons, I would say, that put together a plan and executed on it, which is why the original carpenters, after the natives settled, all their jobs was taken away.
Well, that's the problem with automation, man. Automation is a thing, and that's what a lot of the presidential candidates are bringing up. They're saying jobs aren't being. It's impossible to create jobs if they're being taken over by machines.
That's true.
And so, like you said, like, is it possible to create these jobs for people to afford these houses and stuff like that? And you gotta ask yourself, what are those people paying for? You know what I mean?
I feel that laws should be made to be able to regulate, unfortunately, where someone could just come buy land and then have other people build it for them. If they're forced, or I'm gonna say forced, but if they're, they have nicer words that people use, where they obligated to train or to teach people how to become carpenters and then build, depending on where they live, so that way the area and the people of the area could benefit from their own land.
Well, I mean, you know what I see? I see the future doctor becoming the new maintenance man. You know what I mean? The people that are going to get paid the most money in the future are people that can fix technology and stuff like that. So yeah, the carpenter is going to be needed for a certain step, but he's not the one that's going to get paid, because anyone can do that. And in a sense, the machine's going to be able to do the carpenter's work. So now we just need the builders, the repairman, maintenance. That is going to be the star of the show. But it's about, how can you regulate that? How can you control that?
So you think that maybe there should be laws where machinery or technology has a cap?
Well, I think that will help for a certain time. I think that'll just slow it down. Let's say GMC, they could only have 15% automation and the rest have to be human. You know what I mean? I think that'll slow it down a little bit, but then new laws will come where it's like, yeah, 15% is this kind of machine,
but
such and such.
I don't know. Do you sometimes ask yourself what kind of person? And I think the answer most people are going to say before I even finish saying this is greed. But what kind of person would risk their own kind just to make more money than others?
That's everybody. You can talk about pollution, with global warming. People find different reasons and ways to justify their actions, or just totally disregard warning. And the number one answer for that is, if I don't do it, someone else is going to do it. I'm not Israel feeding my family, And that's just the way we operate. We all operate that.
They have a lot of laws. I think maybe some more laws should be introduced, serious ones, right, to actually save us.
Well, yeah, that's what,
protect us from ourselves. And I don't mean me particularly, but people that have that influence, that have that money, they're just wondering, what am I going to do with this $100 million today? Kind of bored. And what am I going to invest in? And not really, considering how it would affect humans in general.
I mean,
or the planet.
Again, that's their money is going to protect their children's children, and they're not really worried about society as a whole. A lot of people just want to stay rich. They're not really worried about everyone else.
So they're just scared of getting poor.
Yeah, I mean, even if, a millionaire could be a millionaire, but if everyone becomes a millionaire, now they're just a millionaire. And I think that's what it really is. They want to keep everyone where they are, so they could still feel that prestige of being rich. Even if they have everything they need, they want to feel that much more important than the rest. Even though there are billionaires, and in fact there are trillionaires of people that don't report their money. They don't have to. And like Saudi Arabia, they're rich, way richer than anyone we know.
All right, changing it up a little bit. I would say I had to go about a week or two ago. I had to go to the doctor because my gland was swollen in my eye. I was like, what's going on here? And I'm trying to figure it out. And somebody's like, did you have a skying? And all these different things. And it occurred to me what I missed. I would say, how did I miss that kind of thing? You may have one too. And I realized when I went to my barber, you know, he put, I guess he did a facial, whatever. He put some cream on my face and he put a towel. And once he did that, I said, wow, that was it. So now, you know, and I didn't, next time I see him, I'll definitely tell him you need to clean your towels. And you would think, because the towel's hot, you know, and you know, and I'm beginning to understand how, you know, your body's important, and sometimes you don't think things will happen to you. You hear all these stories. I know girls are always talking about, oh, they got infections on their nails, and most men don't get pedicures, so they don't really worry about these kind of things. But now I know, and I'm just wondering, that should have hit me right away.
Right.
You know, but because it's so new and I haven't really done that only a few times, I guess that's why it didn't occur to me until I went back to the barber, and I realized, well, you got a how did I miss that?
I understand that. That was good. That was a good how did I miss that. All right. Now my how did I miss that ain't that cool. My how did I miss that is I just watched a movie called Transcendence with Johnny Depp.
I think I might have seen that.
Exactly. Everyone watched that movie but me. And I like movies. I'm a movie buff, in case you didn't know. But that movie was really good. I liked it. I mean, critic-wise, it didn't really get, you know, some of the acting was a little iffy. The ending was kind of iffy. But it was still a good movie. And it made you think. It gives you a thinking. I like movies that make you think differently and see different outcomes. Even if you heard the same story 100 times, I like seeing a different outlook on that. But yeah, that is definitely a how did I miss that. That's a new segment, by the way. How did I miss that?
How did I miss that?
Put your how did I miss that in the comments. You know what I mean? One of those. You gonna do that? Yeah.
All right. So let's let go, let it go.
Oh, before that though,
What we got?
I want to talk about Juice WRLD.
Oh yeah.
The artist that passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a seizure in the airport.
All right.
He just shows a trend of a lot of young artists that have passed.
He was 21, right?
21 years old, man.
Wow.
So the story alleged by the police officers, you know, was that the pilot flying this private plane reported guns on the plane,
Right.
which is highly illegal.
Right.
And so now his security is actually getting charged with a lot of that stuff. So allegedly, you know, they had drugs in the plane, 17 pounds of weed, which is a lot if you guys don't know.
17 pounds of weed is a lot.
That's a lot.
Whoa.
So, you know, that, and then, you know, other kinds of drugs and paraphernalia and all that, you know. But allegedly. And apparently he took a lot of Percocet to hide it.
You serious?
Yeah, and so that created the seizure. That activated the seizure he had. And that's how he passed away. That's what they're saying. That's
insane, man.
But yeah,
I mean, you know, God rest his soul.
Rest in peace. But yeah, I wanted to be talking about that
to
a
his
little
family
bit.
and friends.
Absolutely.
And strangers and fans, right?
And fans, and you know, I know a lot of the younger generation really look up to him.
Wow.
So his life ended because his fear of getting in trouble. And that goes to show you, like, even with that much money and admiration, because I know my nephews and the other kids that I've worked with all love Juice WRLD. They love his songs. They must be deeply affected by this in ways that we don't understand.
I just hope that it doesn't become one of those things where people are so, like, I would say, they want to be a part of his world or what it was. And I'm not saying that, you know, that it was drugs or not drugs, but I hope that because of the media saying that it was, I hope people don't feel like that's a way of staying in touch with him by doing drugs.
And yeah, and there's something to that, and I'm not gonna be afraid to mention it. Someone took a bunch of drugs in his like wake and like to respect him, and and it's just like, some kid did it.
This is exactly what
it's just like, that's the fear. It's just like,
that's the kind of thing
but
that I hope
I'm not gonna not talk about it, because I think ignorance about the situation is the opposite of helping. So to not mention it is, you know, because the fear of promoting it is very real. But I think people have this certain sense of what loyalty is or respect, and my thing is if you're not respecting yourself or your body, then there's no way you're respecting someone that someone of the dead, especially if they died to that. Like that's just totally opposite of what.
I just want to say, like, I know a lot of young people always try to separate themselves from older people because this is how they're designed to think, and I don't think they realize, again, it's not their true thoughts. Mm-hmm. Because if their true thoughts was smart ones, it would be, let me respect people before me that know better, that experience it, especially those people that made it through. And I don't think they realize that, you guys don't realize this, the people that are actually still alive, they're alive because they made it through, because they had to go through all these obstacles that you and children before you will go through, where they always have to separate themselves from people older than them because they feel like that's what they need to do automatically, so they think. But people like 50 Cent is I would say a good reference where it's like he decided not to do drugs, decided not to drink, decided to start removing tattoos. It's like it's an example. Well, why would he do that? Those are the things you might want to ask yourself. It's not for me to tell you the whole story or to tell you what's in his mind, but he's successful and he made it through. You already know that all the other things that happened to him for him to actually be where he's at. And he's not the only one. I would say everybody, famous, unfamous, that made it through. It's a reason why.
You say you had to be a shit by one, right?
Yeah.
So let's do the let go, let it go?
Yeah.
Alright, I didn't mean to cut you off because I was about to go over the whole crazy thing about that. You know what I mean?
Okay,
We're going to talk about that in the next episode. Quick, let it go.
Yeah.
Kanye West, not Kanye West, Nick Cannon.
Okay.
And Eminem beef.
Right.
How you feel about it? It's been old. It's coming back again.
I feel like if I'm not correct, Eminem started this up again.
Well, initially I thought so.
No,
but Nick Cannon was just on an interview somewhere, and he actually said Mariah Carey, which is Nick Cannon's ex-wife or wife, I'm not really sure of the situation, beat Eminem with her song "Why You're So Obsessed With Me."
Okay.
And he brought it up.
So Nick Cannon started it. Eminem responded
on the Fat Joe's track.
Fat Joe's new album, by the way. Congratulations on your
Shout out to Fat Joe.
I heard both tracks. Listen, my first reaction to it was hysterical. I was laughing for too long. I feel like the Joker.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
But then I listened to it again today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it came out Monday or so. Yeah. I heard it for the first time yesterday.
Yeah.
I listened to it again today. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not nothing I'm accustomed to in regards to clap back. You want to clap back?
Yeah.
I mean, Ja Rule. I mean, y'all say what y'all want about Ja Rule. That song was fire.
No. I think everyone knows that was a fire song.
I
mean, Ja Rule's. That beef was for real. That was a good. I mean, I think Ja Rule lost that beef, but
that song was crazy.
Yeah,
at the time for sure.
Definitely, it's still a fire song.
And Jadakiss this track. Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Sorry, Miss Jackson was good too, but Checkmate was the
Checkmate
real
was
that was
crazy.
A crazy one. Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, 50 Cent songs was fire too, guys. You wouldn't say so against
Jada? No. I mean, it was alright. It was the G Unit stuff, but you see, that's why.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying, why did Nick Cannon have to get people to help him? I'm like, G Unit went after Terror Squad and Murder Inc. And this ain't that different from that.
That is true.
So people gotta stop with that. So
yeah, we can go on and on.
I think.
I know your boy Charlie Clips was on that track, wasn't he?
Charlie Clips and Hitman Holler, two battle rappers, and they got crazy in 8 bars. The lines are crazy. And obviously, Nick Cannon's verse ain't that bad either.
You know what I think? I think they trying to set Eminem up. Cause
it's a good bait track. It's called The Invitation.
Yeah, I think if I think that would make a great battle. I'm not taking nothing away from Nick Cannon, but I think Charlie Clips would be a good battle.
But that's the thing. That's the question. And this, we could go a whole half hour on this, but
Can we talk about this again?
we can bring it back.
We can bring it back.
The question is, and I'll leave it for the next, the next David Talks, is can Eminem survive in a climate of battle rap now?
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
We could talk about that later.
But
shout outs to Eminem, shout outs to Nick Cannon.
Shout out to Eminem.
Shout outs to Clips and him and Olive. I didn't like that Suge thing. I thought that was, you could have did without that. But I mean,
You mean
Suge Knight. That was Suge Knight in the end.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really. I felt like he's so out of touch with what was going on that, I didn't really like it. But everything else I like. I didn't like the last dude rapping either.
What about the singing in Fat Joe's song?
With
Eminem.
Yeah, with Mary J. Blige.
You like it?
I'm not, it's alright. I thought Eminem's. This is the thing about Eminem's thing, and we could talk about it later. Eminem's
It's hard for us not to talk about this.
Yeah,
because
I love rap, man.
He's also a battle rapper, and
yeah,
he hasn't battled for years, but I'm sure you can find and you'll see why we. It's
I
hard
like
for us
his
not
first
to talk
rhymes.
about it.
Yeah, I like his first couple bars. I got bored a little bit at the end. He got some clever lines. People. My thing is, people are afraid of Eminem retaliating. They like he's so great, but his initial diss was nice. First couple bars, it wasn't that different from. They changed. Yo, we could go.
We're gonna.
Shout outs to everybody involved.
Love it. Keep the music. We love
with the Let's Go. That's my Let's Go.
I'm gonna say.
Let's get into it.
My first reaction was definitely to Let It Go. Like, what is this?
Yeah. Me too.
Honestly, but you know what?
See, that reminds me of the Hollywood condition thing. We conditioned to think that Eminem's untouchable, and I'm not with it.
Well, I think Charlie Clips. I know you might be rusty right now,
right?
But I believe you have an opportunity to beat Eminem in a battle rap. No,
some people might call that blasphemy. Exactly.
But who's this guy? This is who's me. I'm David Talks. That's who I am. I can tell you that right now.
It's
my research is from experience. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
Right.
But thanks for watching David Talks.
Thanks for watching.
Much love.
Yeah.
See you again.